Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics back with another video. It's not going to be my standard comic book haul. I actually did my first CGC submission about 3 months, a little over 3 months ago. I mentioned it in a haul video back then, back in, I think it was late May. I got a few books in from eBay that I wanted. I mentioned that I was doing my first submission. One of the books I showed off is in this submission. So I did it through my local shop. I didn't want to mess around with signing up for CGC on my first one and dealing with the pressing. So my local shop offers it at a service. I think it's pretty much at his cost. I don't really think he makes anything off it. So he knows what he's doing with it. So I felt more comfortable just kind of letting him handle it. So I ended up doing 16 books because I just did the quick press option. I didn't want to do any older books at the time. I didn't want to do any of the full press stuff. So I picked out some stuff that I thought was real high grade that would be, the quick press would be sufficient. Everything shipped, the pressing service, the grading. I think it worked out to like $30 and change per book, which I thought was fair. That seemed like legit prices. I mean, I don't know, maybe made a couple bucks off each book, but I don't really care. So anyways, I finally got the books back. I'm kind of skipping over a bunch of haul videos because I was just excited to do this one. I wanted to show these off. I thought about doing a live unboxing, but I couldn't wait. I ended up opening with my daughter. We had a blast pulling them out, kind of blindfolding ourselves and guessing the grades. It was pretty exciting. So I'm going to dive right in. I think I mentioned, but it's 16 books total. Basically, a lot of duplicates. Well, a few duplicates, and I wanted to get rid of some of my duplicates. So I needed to slab them first because I couldn't figure out which was the best grade. So I'm very happy with the results. My expectations were low. I only thought there was going to be... my predictions were 198, which I'll get to at kind of towards the end. And I'll kind of go through what I thought and what I ended up getting and kind of reviewing the results as we go. So first book is the Marvel Fumetti book, which is kind of an oddball book, maybe kind of an odd choice to slab, but I bought a collection a year and a half ago, and it had about, I want to say 50 of these, still bound, tied up with like the little twine wrap, unread copies. And these were going for a little bit after Stan Lee passed away, and I probably should have slabbed some sooner, but I had a huge stack. I sold a bunch off loose, but they only go for $5-10 maybe loose. I was selling them in lots just to get rid of them. So I figured I'd slab a few, get them pressed out, and I was pretty happy with the results. I got 3 of them done. I put down 9.4 on all of them. Most of these had bad stacking curls, bends from the twine, so I picked the ones that didn't have any tears or anything like that. So I got 196 there. Sorry, I'm kind of pulling them out of the sleeves as we go. Second 9.6, and these cooled off a little bit. I mean, I think Go Collect has these at about $100 is the fair market value, which is a bit overblown from what I see on eBay, but still happy with the results. I will definitely keep one of these in my PC. Final one was a 9.8, so immediately I was pumped about that. Again, I thought they were all going to be 9.4s, and I was trying to be conservative just because I had never submitted books myself. So pretty psyched about that. The 9.6s will be for sale, and I'll be holding on to the 9.8. I have a bunch more. I'm probably going to just hold on to them and slab them as I have the opportunity, see if I can get a couple more 9.8s. So should anyone be interested in the ones I'm mentioning as being for sale, hit me up on Instagram, message me. I'm probably going to put them for sale on Instagram before I put them on eBay. I'd rather do that. So, all right, next book. I was so happy about this. One of these was from my childhood I had. One of the only back issues. I think I mentioned it before in a video a while ago. I think I showed it off. I also picked up a second copy on eBay for like $30. It is Wolverine #1, the volume 2. Awesome John Buscema cover. First Wolverine is Patch. Fantastic. Came back a 9.8. This one, a little bit of a weird miscut, miswrap, however you want to call it, but still beautiful copy. I think this is the one I got off eBay for like $30, like last year. And the other copy, also a 9.8. So pretty psyched to get 2 of these. One of my all-time favorite books. I know it's not the Frank Miller cover, but I still absolutely love this book. And I thought the one I had was in really pristine shape. How I kept it that way all those years, I don't know. It was just jammed in a short box for 25 years, sitting in my old bedroom closet at my parents' house, and quick press, and boom, a 9.8. And I know this book definitely goes for for a volume 2, number 1. I think it's over $100, $150, something like that. I can't remember. So one of these is available, guys. It's going to be the one with the miswrap. Sorry, I'm keeping the one from my child, and I'm pretty positive. Got a cool sketch on the back, and I do love that about the slabs when you've got artwork on the back that you can see it as well. So happy about that. I know it's on a major key, but for me, that's a big book. That was such a big deal for me as a kid, as being 10, 11, picking that up out of the back issue bin, and just happy that I was able to keep it in that good a shape. So, okay, these are again duplicates. Psyched that I got this. I think I had one in a 9.4. I thought the other would be a 9.6. It's Uncanny X-Men 221, first appearance of Mr. Sinister. Psyched, I got a 9.8. One of these, I'll show off the second one as well, because it is also a 9.8. So extremely ecstatic about that. Like I said, I think I thought one was a 9.4 and one maybe a 9.6. One of these came with a collection I got when I first got back into collecting 2.5 years ago, something like that. I picked up something like 600 X-Men books from a guy locally who he had bought most from a shop I go to all the time. It was like $115 for 600 books, including like his modern stuff. So it was like, man, it was like a run of Uncanny that had like 350, 400 issues, including this. When I worked it out, it was like 10 cents a book. So definitely a good investment there. The second one I picked up at, it wasn't exactly a yard sale. These people locally, probably about an hour away from me, they have a big garage that's full of antiques and collectibles and stuff. It's kind of like they do a yard sale, but it's more like an antique store. You got to hit them up at the right time. And this guy had purchased units and had a ton of comics in the back. He knew nothing about them. It was just an old storage unit with stock from a comic book store that had closed. And he totally inflexible on price, unflexible, however you want to say it. Basically, whatever was on there was what he was going with. Didn't matter if it was priced 20 years ago and the prices weren't relevant. So I just went with it. And some of the books were overpriced significantly, and this book was significantly underpriced at $5. So pretty psyched about that. 2 9.8s. One cost me 10 cents. One cost me $5. So cannot complain. And this book has gotten pretty hot recently. I know I saw it on Key Collector and stuff a few weeks back, probably. Definitely spiked. And I always love this cover. Mark Silvestri, I think, is on the cover. One of my favorite Silvestri covers. It's phenomenal. And for some reason, I find this book all the time. I find it pretty easily, and I think it's pretty common to get in high grade. I seem to find it in pretty good shape. I think I've got 3 more copies, and I'm considering slabbing at least one of them. So one of these will be available as well, guys. I don't think I'm going to sit on this one. So again, if anyone's interested in a 9.8 at 221, just got my email address in my description on YouTube here, and I'm on Instagram at the same account. So follow me, shoot me a DM. All right, on to some of the ones. These are all good books, but on to some of the bigger keys. And these are notable things. These are all books you all know and have all shown off. So this is a classic. Again, duplicates. I think I've got 5 copies of this. I bought a slab version. I bought a slab a couple months ago at a 9.6 from my local shop. I think it cost me like $130, but I bought it because this shop owner, for whatever reason, does not always press his books. He doesn't always dry clean, and he doesn't always press. I don't understand why, because he does it himself. He knows how to do it, but and he'll mark that they're unpressed is kind of a selling point. I don't understand why he doesn't just press them. So I took a shot on the 9.6 he had because it looked to me like it had a partial corner bend, and I'm hoping I can crack it and re-slab it and hopefully get a 9.8. But it is Secret Wars number 8. Of course, the origin of the symbiote, however you say it. Came back a 9.6. I think I thought they were 9.2s, 9.4s. I can't remember. It's got some production. I guess, I don't know if that's a production tear or not. If I can zoom in, if my camera will focus, you can see that little nick there. Pretty sharp, a little, pretty bad miswrap, but pretty sharp otherwise. I'm going to guess that that is not a production error and that little tick, this is just kind of like a miscoloration, ink stain, whatever, from printing. I think that's it, and that's why it's a 9.6. But I was super happy with these. Again, I didn't think I was going to get 9.8s, but a 9.6 and a second 9.6. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with these, but I think at least one of these is going to be up for sale since I got a couple. So again, if anyone's interested, awesome book, high grade, fantastic Mike Zack cover, awesome. This is just, for Copper Age stuff, this is to me one of those iconic books. I remember, again, when I got back into books in 2015, I was just reading modern stuff, and I was trying to track down back issues and modern runs. I was reading Secret Wars in 2015. That's what it is. And I had totally missed it, and my kids had got me #1 for Father's Day, and I stared at that thing for months, and I finally read it. And then, of course, once I read it, I wanted to get the other ones, and I walked into the shop, the local shop, and I told myself, no back issues, don't buy back issues. And I looked up on the wall, and this was sitting on the wall, and I couldn't stop staring at it. It's not this copy. It's a newsstand copy that I don't have slabbed, but I will be getting slabbed. Anyways, I finally broke down and got it. Actually, I think I got my wife to get it for me for Father's Day one year. And that was it. Hook, line, and sinker. I was back into the hobby. So pumped to have a couple more of those in high grade. Again, like I said, at least one of them I think is going to be available. And I'm going to probably post these on Instagram with my prices that I'm looking for. So, all right, this is a hot book. Again, this was probably the first key I bought off eBay when I got back into collecting. And I remember I won it for $53, and I was definitely having buyer's remorse. This had to be 3 years ago, because at the time, 53 was really pushing the limit. It is Amazing Spider-Man 361. First appearance of Carnage, fantastic cover. I'm not the biggest Mark Bagley fan, but of all Mark Bagley's covers, this to me is the best. I love that cover. I love the color scheme on Carnage. Came back in 9.6. I was honestly blown away with that. I thought no more than a 9.4. It is sharp all over. It is beautiful, except if you can pick that up, if I can miss the glare, that is a big fat 1/4 inch or more spine tick, and I didn't think one that big was going to come back a 9.6, but it did, and it's a newsstand copy, so phenomenal. Psyched about that. I can't remember what I thought on this. 9.2, 9.4 is what I was thinking. I think I thought it would be a 9.4, so super happy about that. And of course this, a duplicate as well, and I can't remember how much I paid for this one. $50 again last year as part of a bundle. This one came back a 9.8. This was one I was really shocked by, because this also has, now it's got the gripper poles on the bottom, so those don't count if you can pick them up. They do ignore that. But it's got a faint tick right there. I think that you can see that pretty clearly, and you can see the gripper poles here by my thumb. So I've seen some bad ones on this book, and it's nice to know that those do not affect the grade, because those are pretty bad, and they're on the back as well. I am floored with that spine tick, though. It's light, but still, it is sharp, though. The corners are razor sharp, so did not expect a 9.8 on this book at all, and I am ecstatic about that. I think that is going $400 north of that, so these I'm probably going to sit on, guys. I don't think one of these is going to be available with the movie coming out next year. I think I'll be sitting on these, and I don't have any additional copies of this. My shop has a beautiful one on the wall that looks like a 9.6, 9.8 candidate, and it's priced under $100, but I don't know if you want to say fortunately or unfortunately, it's signed by Mark Bagley, so that's, of course, a fantastic thing, but you can't submit it to CGC, and I know it's a big dispute, but if I'm going to get my books slabbed, I kind of want them CGC. It's just definitely worth the extra money. Whether you agree or not, they just, for your money, if you're flipping books or you're going to be unloading duplicates, that's where you get the biggest price. So the only option is to go to CBCS with something that's pre-signed, which I will do. I have books that are pre-signed, but they're all books that I have no intention on really selling. They're books I want to hold, and I want to know that they're legit. So I will be fine with that. But anyways, super stoked about those. All right, last 5, and these are all books I've wanted all of these since I got back into collecting. Took a little bit of time. This book, I think I bought 3 or 4 copies of before I finally got a really, really sharp one. So super pumped about this. New Mutants 87, not a 9.8, it's a 9.6, but I think I was expecting it to be at a 9.6, so I am not going to complain about that. I managed to get this at a pretty good price. I think it was like $80 on eBay. All the other copies I'd gotten were in the mid-grade range, and I just never, everyone around here wants 150, $200 for near mint copies, so I was psyched to get that. So that is definitely one that's staying in my collection. The other ones probably will eventually go up for sale. But I'm probably going to try and figure out how to do some pressing on my own to clean them up a bit. Okay, so on to the lone disappointment. And I am not disappointed because the haul overall was amazing. I was so blown away. But this one, X-Men 266, first appearance of Gambit. It's a 9.6, which is phenomenal. This is the one book I had in my head that was going to be a 9.8 after the pressing. So I'm not sure what happened on this one. It looks pristine, but it is what it is. It's probably something on the inside. I don't know. There's no graders notes on this invoice since, well, honestly, they're all 9.6s and 9.8s, which was amazing. So, still happy with it. This is, again, one staying in the collection. I have another copy, but this was the upgrade. Now, this is probably the one I spent a good chunk on this, about $130 on eBay, because it looked so pristine. So still money well spent. Still, I'm in the black on that, but this is definitely staying in the collection. So, and I mean, I keep track of, what I spend on the books, and when I'm buying these books, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not going to take a loss if I have to sell. And what I do is I get into the books in a lower grade and try and work my way up to the higher grades. And that's what most of these, what I've done. I've bought them in low grades, very good, fine range, very fine range. And knowing I have those sitting there makes it easier for me to pull the trigger at $130 on a pristine one on eBay when I know I've got my VF copy that I can at least recoup a good chunk of that money. And in some cases, I've sold my low grade copies for big money. So all right, this is the biggest shock of all. I thought this book was going to come in so much lower. I think I bought this again back in 2015, 2016 at like $15. I'm real surprised on the grade on this, but I am not going to complain. Ultimate Fallout number 4, first appearance of Miles Morales, and it came back a 9.8. So I think this has got to be probably the most valuable book of the haul now. I think these are going for $4.50. Definitely sitting on this. I have another one, but it's a 9.0 that I bought at a local shop. And I'm surprised on it because it does have... Oop, I messed up the camera. Let's see if we can pick it up. Very faint, but there's a tick there. Right above my thumb. That's the artwork there. There's a very faint one. Well, that's how faint it is. I can't even get it to show up. Right above my thumb there. So like 2 really light ticks. But otherwise, again, corners are razor sharp. So maybe it's just because the corners are so sharp and there's no bindery tears. But man, I was shocked. I think this was the first book I pulled out too. And that started, I'm covering my eyes and I pulled this out and open my eyes and it's a 9.8 and it's this book. And I was like, wow. So that kind of started it. So phenomenal. So happy about that. Again, that one's not going anywhere. So I will probably sell the 9.0 at some point if anything else happens with Miles Morales, but I'll be sitting on those for a bit. Last book. This is the lone, let's see, what year is this? Okay, I guess technically this is Bronze Age, tail end of the Bronze Age. This was one of the key books I absolutely wanted to get when I got into collecting, but very pricey, tough to find raw, tough to find because of, one little special feature. But I was lucky enough to get a copy on eBay through an obscure seller who Really didn't detail the condition too well. Took some photos, and the best I could tell, it was in really good shape. And I think I got that one for 50, 60 bucks. The second one of the local dealers had it. And he had kind of mispriced it based on this little feature that's in it. But again, I think I got them both in the $50 range, which 50 to 60 bucks, something like that. Both gorgeous copies. I did not expect. I figured they'd be 9.2, 9.4. I think no, maybe one of them I thought would be the grade I got, which is a 9.6 Amazing Spider-Man 238. Absolutely ecstatic to get this. It's the first copy and the second copy. So both 9.6s, absolutely floored to get that. These are going, $400, something like that, I think. So I never find it with the tattoos. It's a rare book for me to find. I don't see it in shops a lot. If I do see it, it seems to be lower grade, or it's definitely missing the tattoos. I would say more than half the copies I come across are missing the tattoos. So this is, to me, the book of the haul for me. I mean, that Ultimate Fallout was such an awesome surprise, but this book I just love. I love the Hobgoblin because I was into the books in the 80s, and he was really the main villain. So overall, I am ecstatic. All 9.6s and 9.8s. I think 7.9.8s and 9.9.6s. So I cannot complain. Money well spent. I think I did the math and worked it out. My total investment cost of the books and the slabbing was like $1,035 over this 3-year period of collecting them. And I think the FMV off Go Collect for all these books is over 3,000. So, definitely worth it for me. Very excited about that. So on the 238, I am still undecided. I may be swayed to sell one of them. So just so tough to find them with the tattoos. But again, if you're interested, I'm going to be posting these on Instagram probably within the next day or so. So hit me up, email me if you are interested. And yeah, as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave some comments below. Let me know what you thought. And as always, happy hunting.